Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the I May Regret This podcast. We're back from our little hiatus that we had. We had to take a little break because we were both getting pretty busy, but also Kunal was dealing with some hectic stuff. But luckily, we're back for this episode, and we're gonna kind of cut to the middle because the beginning was a bit boring and long. But we started off answering a question that I got from my mom, and it was a pretty interesting conversation. You know, we started talking about what stresses us out, and then talked about values, and then we struggled to define what love means. So sit back and enjoy. And that's how you know, ultimately. No one can question you, because once you feel that, that's how you know that it contributes to the definition.
Stop it! I'm scared, I think. I'm bad and bougie.
I fucking hate you.
This dry streak might end, if that's what you're referring to.
This voice, and it says, I know you know I'm here. Why are you ignoring me?
Are you smelling burnt toast, sir?
I sure hope.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
that Chipotle.
There's no way you could speak to them dancing that hard and so passionately.
You know what? I really may regret this.
All right, well,
listen,
we got some questions. You want to
I
jump
was
in on
gonna say, ever since you told me your mom asked a question, I've been very curious, and we haven't recorded a podcast in over 4 weeks. So if you're okay with starting with that, I really want to hear it.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. I think
Does your mom?
yeah,
your
I
mom
have a lot
listens,
to
right?
say it. I think sometimes, yeah.
She'll definitely
If
listen
not,
to
then,
this
I don't
because
know,
we're
I guess she
answering.
doesn't care about me. Like, support
Which I don't blame her. Miss Heineken, believe me, I understand what you're going through.
Really, dude. You know she's gonna be pissed about that.
No,
dude.
it was a Miss
No, I'm gonna tell
Hachikian.
her.
Hachikian. I was joking. That's how you say it, right? Hachikian?
I was joking, dude.
The fuck is wrong
Okay.
with you? Why would you
Here's
do
what
that?
she said.
Okay.
Here's what she said. And to preface this, if she's asking this to both of us,
Mhm.
but I think
She only wants your opinion.
no, she wants. I really like that. She wants both of our opinions, but
Yeah.
I think she's like, you guys seem like you are, and then says something, and I think she is mostly getting this from me. Like we've had talks about this before, like her and I, because I think me and my mom differ in like our way of life, if that makes sense. So I think like you may not relate to what she's saying as far as like you guys seem this way, but
Okay.
we'll
I
see.
see.
I just wanted to preface that.
Yeah.
Here's what she said. Seems you guys are admirably very focused on self-improvement and goals, but are you too serious and hard on yourselves? Can just relaxing and having fun be enough sometimes?
I very
Thoughts?
much like this question. Can I start?
Yeah. And there's
So-
a follow-up too.
Oh? So should I answer first and then we do the follow-up? Dude!
Don't ever make that noise.
it was my intrigue.
What were you going to say?
If you let me finish,
Okay, go.
it's my intrigued voice, or noise, or whatever. Yes. So I feel like before, when I was immature, didn't care about school, averaged a 60-ish in a school and whatever. Just sitting back and relaxing was more than enough for me. There was no need for self-improvement whatsoever. This is like me talking about me in high school. There was no need for self-improvement or anything like that. As I
Yeah.
grew up and started to study more and care more and actually realized that I need to put myself together. Yeah, I was definitely too hard on myself, and relaxing was something I still valued but couldn't do as effectively because I knew I had my history of over-relaxing and not caring, and that I just kind of knew that I had to really hold myself accountable, and that did lead to me ultimately being too hard on myself. I would like to say where I am today is I have struck a happy medium, where I'm hard on myself to the extent I feel like I this is just my philosophy, but I can't be catered to, and I can't not be hard on myself or can't have someone just go easy on me, because then I get the flexibility that I need to enable myself to not push myself as hard as I need to. So I'm hard enough on myself to where I still get that drive that I need, but I also still cherish the relaxation. And I'm A-okay at this point with taking my weekends where I do nothing. Even if I might be swamped the next week and I really have to go off and like really spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the first half of the week just grinding, I'm okay with that trade-off as long as it means I get my weekend of relaxation. I'm happy with taking that and not being hard on myself to the point where I make myself feel like shit for relaxing or taking a break or taking a mental breather. And being okay with being selfish. Like, I'm not really gonna, selfish to an extent. Like, I'm not really gonna talk to anyone today. I'm just gonna work out, shower, get some food, watch a movie, and go to bed. And I'm okay with that. And I want to relax and just unwind from the type of week that I had or type of day that I had, and I'm okay with that. I would personally like to say I have found that happy medium. Was that her question? Of do you believe relaxation can just be enough? Do we feel like we're too hard on ourselves?
Yeah, so it sounds like, I guess, specifically to answer her question, you're saying yes, relaxing can be enough sometimes.
Yes.
And you don't think that you're too serious and hard on yourself because, like, you found that happy medium after.
Yes, and
time.
I actually think relaxation is fine, but also, again, just my philosophy, mandatory to everyone. It should be. I mean, otherwise you're just eventually going to start running on fumes, and nothing good comes out of that. Like,
anytime you say my philosophy is mandatory,
Uh-huh.
you're a fucking 20 out of 40, dude.
What the fuck, dude? Was that my score? I don't remember.
I don't know, something like that. Yeah. It was like
So you remember
higher than
everyone
that.
else's score? You remember fucking Tom,
No,
Dick,
it
and
was
Harry's,
just-
but
I actually
not
was
mine?
it was exactly 20. I remember.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, look,
It was,
no, it
was
I'm not saying someone has to implement that, but I'm strongly recommending you do, because it is right, in my opinion. Like, you're gonna eventually work yourself to the point, and I'm speaking from experience too, but you're gonna get to the point where you're just running on fumes, man. Like, instead of taking that time to be okay with relaxing, and I get it, it's harder said than done when you're in that situation, and it's hard for you to just accept that you need to relax.
We need all sorts of people in the world, we need the people that are just, like, built to work fucking tirelessly and they get a ton of shit done, and we need the other people that just want to relax and, like, do nothing, and then, like, they'll just, like, help out in, like, small ways, but, like, generally they're just there to chill, and it's, like, it's kind of nice to have those people around too.
Hold on.
What?
Why not both? Why can you not be both?
Well, you can be both. I actually think I agree with you. I think that is healthier, but I feel like people should just lean into, like, what they're, because I think there's some people that just aren't built to, like, be a CEO, but there are some people. So, like, we need those people to do that because, like, they push humanity forward.
Agreed. But I'm saying in terms of, like, what your mom's question is. So,
if she's talking about me specifically, here's what I'll say.
Mhm.
This is why I'm saying, like, it's more directed at me, because I think we've had these conversations where it's like, like, even ones that I had with you, and, like, you almost are like the voice of reason, which is the same as my mom, where it's kind of funny. Where it's like, I've been working really hard, but I'm, like, feeling stress, and then both the advice, not that I'm necessarily asking for it, but both the advice you or my mom would give would be like, yo, like, take a mental breather, like, don't shit on yourself for that, like, just watch YouTube or whatever. And I get that, but here's where I'm coming from, and I'll start like you did from your childhood too, because I think that was it's always good insight.
Yeah.
Because it really paints a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I never gave a shit about self-improvement or any of that stuff.
Nice.
I mean, probably, of course, until maybe mid-high school. And I would say I was complete bliss until the start of middle school, probably. And at that point, I think I always kind of had this in me to be really anxious and had social anxiety and, like, be really shy and nervous and things like that. It didn't really matter that much when I was much younger, but, like, from, like, I would say, like, starting from maybe middle school, definitely in high school, it was like that became a problem, sort of thing. Like, before I could kind of get away with it, like, I just had my friends and, like, that's all I needed. It's like, who cares? What else do you do when you're in grade 5? You just, like, fucking play. Like, school doesn't even matter.
Right.
But then, like, when other things start to matter a bit more and, like, you just start getting responsibilities, I think, like, maybe around middle school or high school, and, like, I was actually a bit in control of my life, like, more and more and more. Like, that's when I think I started to suffer by not focusing on that, if that makes sense. Like, if I had worked on myself to free myself of anxiety a lot sooner, I think that would have been better for me. Because, looking back, and not that I like, we talked about regret and all that stuff. I don't really regret it, but I just like learned, like looking back on it. I just spent a lot of time being anxious and like being afraid of life, essentially being afraid of what's coming next. And instead I could have been working towards something. So I didn't like have like I didn't develop a working discipline until much later.
Agreed. I'm the exact same way.
And I think because like, if you just say like, oh, life's just about, enjoying it and relaxing and stuff like that. In my case, I inevitably just suffered by not focusing on things because like I wasn't disciplined in certain ways. Like, my parents pushed me to have certain ambitions and to like, they laid out a lot of like different options for me, showed me different opportunities, but like ultimately it didn't come within me to like want to chase certain things. Everything with regards to the future just stressed me out. Anyways, I guess I don't know how like where I'm going with that, but it should paint the picture for the future. Now, let's say going through university, right? I went to engineering. This whole time, I'm like, I don't even like this shit. I'm just kind of in it because I'm in it. And like, I really don't even want to think about when I'm graduating. Because like, that just sounds like, the only thing I enjoy right now is just like hanging with my friends and like doing fun stuff.
Right, yeah.
And now that, say I'm in this place where, I've had to work really hard to kind of like try out new things and like force discipline on myself, and like really find success in my own ways. And I found out a lot more about what I do and don't like, and I'm like, I don't know what like my life passion is, if that's even a real thing, but like I'm getting a much better understanding of who I am and like what I'm going to be doing long term for work, or like what I'm just going to be doing in my life in general. And I only got that way by trying really hard. And so that's kind of where that piece is important to me. Because, like, ultimately, I'll never be okay with just, like, doing, like, the way my mom looks at life, which I don't know if you look at it this way, but I think many people do as well, where they kind of just work to support their life and essentially just work for the weekend type of thing. And that'll never be okay with me. I just felt that from the beginning. Like, if I'm doing something, 8 hours a day or whatever, it better be something that is important to me or, like, helps me identify with, like, my identity in the world.
Right.
Like, that shit is important to me. So, like, if I'm just, if I'm just doing anything to make money just so I could, like, have fun on the weekend, to me, that's not a fulfilling life. So that's where I think we probably differ. And I'll build on that point too, because there are moments where like I'll get stressed out and I'm like putting a lot on my plate and then I feel shitty when I like watch YouTube and stuff. I think the difference is that I've had times in my life too where I like there was a period where I was unemployed coming out of school and like I had no job opportunities lined up because like things didn't work out. And in that time, I had all the free time in the world. I didn't have a lot of stress. Like, I didn't really have any sense of real urgency. Like, you know what I mean? Because I was living with my parents, so they could support me for the time being. And, like, there was really no stress, quote unquote. But I was fucking miserable. I hated that. And I went through that time period and just felt like it was really important for me to do that because now I know that doesn't make me happy. I had all the time in the world to sit and relax and watch YouTube and fucking do whatever I want. And that shit doesn't make me happy. It just doesn't. And maybe if I was doing a lot of stuff that like, like finding all these different like passions and hobbies and like working on some sort of artistic and creative thing, like I would have felt better. But that, I mean, I basically learned two things. One is that like I have an unhealthy relationship. As much as I don't have addictive personality with like drugs and like other things, like, caffeine and like certain activities. I have no problem with that. But like my phone and YouTube and like Netflix and shit like that, I just don't have a healthy relationship. I just binge on it because I don't want to like face the world, or like I'm tired or whatever, and I just want my brain to go numb. And then I end up watching shit I don't even care to watch, and I'm like not even really enjoying it.
Well, can I ask a question in response to that?
I have more to say, but yeah, I've been talking for a long time.
Well,
so
just
too long.
quickly, because I want to tap into your brain a little bit here. Because I get it.
Tap
Like,
in, dude.
I definitely get that I definitely get that, like, what I might do to relax, which is like kick back, maybe watch something on Netflix, watch something on YouTube, hop on and game. That's my form of relaxation. And when you try to do that, you're simply not happy when you do it. But that, like, what do you consider to be relaxation is my question.
Great question. And I think I hate to use this as a crutch, but especially this happened this week where I'm in COVID. I'm in a pandemic where we're incentivized not to see people.
Right.
And I have a fucking rolled ankle where I'm incentivized not to move my body.
Right.
And, just knowing myself and talking about, how much I felt better in the weather and stuff, I really think that, like, the way I actually unwind and relax and reset is I spend time with people, I go out, I do things, I explore, I work out, like, I play sports, I get out and do stuff. That's how I relax. And it's not like, there are times where, like, I just need to lie down. And, I think I can recognize those moments, but,
okay, yeah.
When I finish work and I'm tired, the right thing isn't for me to lie in bed and then watch YouTube. The right thing is for me to get out and then do something, get some fresh air, get some life into me, right? And I can't do that right now, so, like, that's why I kind of, like, slip into these things here and then feel shitty about it.
So,
and, like, to be fair, I couldn't do anything. I guess I could have read this whole time, but it's like, I don't know, that's not real relaxation to me.
So you generally agree with, like, my outlook, but it's you simply can't really implement yours because your form of relaxation is hard to do, judging by the circumstances.
I do agree relaxation is important.
Okay.
Yeah, it's certainly important. And it's like...
Well, as long as I'm right.
Makes it, nice.
Thanks.
It's part of what makes life, like, kind of worth it in a way, like, or not life, but it makes all the hard work and other stuff you're doing worth it, because then you can kind of, like, sit back and relax and be happy about all the shit you just did. But I was actually talking to Joel, good friend of mine. We had him on the podcast, good friend of ours, about this recently, where I said, we always talk about the maximizing the human experience. And for me, because ultimately, we're just humans and whatever. We have as far as I know, at least, we have no real purpose on this earth, and we're just fucking apes doing dumb shit for no reason. So it's
nice.
Like, there's no reason to do anything really when you kind of boil it down in the grand scheme of things. But I do think that, like, I want my life to be memorable. Like, for me, what I really cherish is, like, when I look at when I think about my past, and I remember, like, good times I had with friends, like, crazy stuff that happened, achievements I did, tough times I went through, all that stuff, like, to paint the picture of my life and, like, almost, like, literally, like, I'm writing a story. That's what kind of, like, makes life worth it. So I, like, strive to achieve that, where I'm doing things that are going to make my life memorable and, like, it's a good story to me. So that's how I define it. And in a day, I can break it down into 3 different things, whether or not you wasted a day. Because I don't think, like, it's multifaceted, or, like, it's kind of nuanced, like, what's worth spending your time doing. But to me, if you don't doing one of these 3 things, then you're actually wasting your time. And I'll say the 3 right now.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
1 is you're doing something memorable. Like, if you're exploring a new area, or you're going on a walk, or you're with friends doing something, or I don't know. You're just doing something that, you're just doing something that's like, oh, this is new, this is interesting, this is whatever. 2 is that if you're building towards something in the future, like if you're learning something, if you're working towards something, if you're, like, doing your job to work for money so that you could do something else, all that's working towards you. Also like if you're taking care of your health or like whatever, all that is like, building towards your future self. And I think that's worth it because you have to do that.
Anyone who's like working a full-time job, a day-to-day job, is doing number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I don't that's what I'm saying. If you're working, I don't think you're wasting your time. Could you be using that time better? Sure. But I don't think it's a fucking
I don't think it's a waste. Yeah.
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 And the third thing is if you're enjoying it. Like if you're genuinely enjoying whatever you're doing, it's like, all right, you're not wasting your time. You had a moment of positivity in your life. That's fucking great. That's not a waste of time. But that's why I like having those 3 rules, because like it's really clear to me when I'm sitting in my bed like watching YouTube and like I don't want to get up because I'm tired. But like I'm not even really enjoying the videos I'm watching, or like you know what I mean? I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like this is actually wasting my time. Like I'm not doing any of those 3 things. It's like what am I actually? What's the purpose of this? And then that that it's good for me because it clearly defines it, and I'm like, it gives me time to get up, or at least like recognize that it's not. Yeah, I learned the definition of addiction recently, and I was like, holy shit. I'm addicted to a lot of stuff because the definition of addiction is doing something despite knowing the negative consequences of it. That's
Wait,
addiction.
what? That's it?
Yeah.
I thought it was like I thought it had to do with like that, but like repetitive. Like you do it with repetition.
Yeah, and like you feel certain urges or like something like that. No, apparently that's just it.
Interesting.
So yeah, I definitely feel like I'm addicted to YouTube in that case.
And I definitely feel like I'm addicted to you in that case. Because I talk to you and I know it sucks, but like, I still do it. And it's negative.
You could have just said like that was a song. That would have hurt less to hear. All right, well, what do you think of all of that shit I just unloaded onto you?
I think
do you think that differs from your philosophy, or?
I don't think it does. I think that a lot of my philosophies, and I have many philosophies.
I was gonna say.
I have many philosophies. They are, at the end of the day, subjective, I think, to what I find to be my happy space or my happy thing or my relaxing thing to do and what you find yours to be and what other people find theirs to be. And I feel like
they're subjective. They're not Mr. And I'm right and everyone should be doing this.
No, you're right. Some of them are like that, but this one in particular is definitely more subjective. But what I have
catch you, but
what I have noticed about myself, and I actually noticed this from a conversation I was having with someone, I think it was last week. I think I was just doing generally funny things on a call I was having with someone, and then they kind of stopped and said, like, they were like, where did you learn how to do that? Like, where did you learn how to deliver that so well? Like, you did something that, like, anyone would try to do to be funny, but you delivered it really well. And I really started, like, I thought I would have a quick and easy answer for that, but I really don't. And I realized as I was thinking about it and really retracing my steps to, like, how I deliver things in the way that I am, just on that perspective alone. And then I realized it opened up a can of whoop ass to me mentally of how much this applies to me.
Dude.
Thank you. Of how much this actually applies to me in my regular day-to-day life. I have grown as a person and developed things as a person solely through literally just watching other people. Whether it's people I know in person or like just, I guess, actors or people in movies. And it's like, oh, I really like the way they delivered that. I'm going to get that down. And like literally for the next 3 days after watching that movie, I'm delivering that joke over and over to myself to like nail the delivery. Or
you do that?
I do.
Wow.
Or, what you and I were talking about before the podcast, we were talking about something personal that I'm dealing with. And it has to deal with emotions and feelings that I'm experiencing that I have literally never felt before. And the only reason, and so normally in the past, when I was in first year and second year, I briefly kind of felt the emotions that I'm feeling right now, but the only reason I never talked to anyone about it and actually internally refused to believe I was even experiencing those feelings was because I never had in the past. And so the old me would kind of bottle it up and be like, there's no way this is just randomly happening all of a sudden. It's never happened to me. So odds are it's not really happening right now. I'm just making more of it in my head than I really should. Fast forward to now, I'm okay with having the conversations that I'm having with you and Sid and other people about my situation that we talked about, because I've seen other people go through it. And seeing other people go through it has allowed me to be okay with accepting the fact that my time has come, in a way. Like, my time has come to finally be dealt with this feeling, or these emotions, or these processes.
To do the thing that you've been watching people do.
Yes. Like, I've seen Sid go through similar situations. You've talked to me about situations that are in this neighborhood where now I'm like, okay, it's just my turn, I guess. Sure, it's never happened to me, but I've seen these people go through it. I kind of feel like because of that alone, I'm okay with accepting that this is where I'm at in my life. And that kind of made me realize, like, holy shit, there's actually a lot about me that I've essentially just robbed from other people. Literally just by watching them and how they live their lives, and all the good qualities and all the good things and mature things and professional things that I've seen other people do that I want to be a part of me, I kind of just take. And like I said, like, I practice with myself, whether it's repeating the delivery of a joke to myself over and over again, whether it's like I see someone do something, like I see someone handle a really tough situation at work in a meeting really well, and I really want to be able to do that because I don't feel like I really put myself in their shoes, and I don't think I would have handled it the way they did. I put myself in that meeting in my bedroom fucking next night, the night after that, the night after that, until I feel like, okay, I actually kind of alphaed that. I know what I'm doing in that situation. And there's situations like that where I've just realized this is kind of how I've, obviously through my own experiences as well, but it's kind of just an additional way of how I've sculpted myself. And that's why, going back to what you said about you having your own ways to relax, like, you can sit back and just not want to move because you're watching a video and whatever, and I mean, yeah, ultimately you don't want to move because you're tired, but you're not even enjoying the video that you're watching. I think it's just even situations like that where I've seen people who are okay with, like Sid, for example, who's been okay with, like, kind of taking a day to himself doing nothing, sitting in bed watching videos, and seeing that, the old me who would be too hard on himself, so I guess like the middle me, not the old me that didn't care at all, but the one after who was too hard on himself, that one would not be okay with taking a day in the middle of being a full-time student and a part-time employee and taking an entire day to go watch videos and be to himself. But seeing Sid and other people do it made me realize that it's okay for me to do that too, and accept the fact that I think there's a beauty in kind of accepting the fact that I guess this is just who I'm okay with being. So I'm just going to make this specific thing a part of me now. This is me now, and I'm okay with taking a day and watching YouTube or watching Netflix all day.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I definitely feel like everyone's like that in a way. I mean, like, I actually feel that even with time I'll spend watching a show or, like, watching a certain personality on entertainment, like, at the end of the day, if I like them, there's certain things I think are, like, admirable about them, or, like, there's something that draws me to them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I found myself in a weird way, like, subtly, maybe in, like, some subtle way, I'll come out of that, like, after having consumed someone's content, and then, like, kind of being more like them in my life after that. You know, like, you kind of take bits and pieces from everyone.
Yes,
like,
definitely.
Everyone is themselves, but everyone's kind of a mishmash of just other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing I wanted to say is, yeah, I think it also boils down to, which is interesting because I learned this, or I don't know if I learned this, but I did this exercise through this therapy I just did, where there was like a list of 10 things, and I don't know if I'm going to get all 10 of them right now, but it was essentially 10 different values, and you essentially have to assign which ones are most important to you in priority. And there were things like productivity, nature, relaxation, socializing, family, community, you know, shit like that. Recreation, I think, was another one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember all of them. But, you know, kind of laying that down and then actually looking at that and taking the time to actually, like, deeply think about, like, what's actually important to me. It was kind of, like, important for two things. One is that, like, it just shows you what's important to you, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, I guess, like, damn, I never realized it before, but, like, you know, this is really important to me, whatever it is. And then the other thing it shows you is that, like, are you actually doing that? Right? Like, if you say family's a 10, like, if family's the most important thing to you, then, like, why do you only talk to your mom, like, once a month or some shit? Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a random example, but, you know, like, if family's super important to you, like, why aren't you building towards a family? Like, why aren't you reaching out to these people? Like, why aren't you spending more time? Or, like, you know, it kind of shows you those things. And I think that's kind of, from, like, that point of view, that's also what drives me to get the fuck out of my bed when I'm like hard on myself not to relax. I think the way I'm hard on myself should change. I was talking to Sid about this. But I'll finish my thought. But anyways, yeah, that's why, like, I don't like relaxing and shit. Because, like, relaxing isn't that important to me. I think relaxing is great, like I said, for the purposes of, like, making the work you do worth it. Taking some time for yourself to rewind, reset, really enjoy the moment, you know, hopefully enjoy it with the people around you. And, you know, it's kind of like a good stepping point. It's kind of like a good reset in life, but ultimately, like, life isn't about relaxing to me. I have, like, a greater purpose than that.
I have a question. You said, I thought you brought up an interesting point, where someone might put family at a 10.
Yeah.
But they're not actually spending too much time with their family, or they're not really working towards starting their own. Do you think that might just really... God, so many... Fuck you, brain. There's so many thoughts floating through my head that it's hard to put it out into one question, but it's like, do you think that almost boils down to just how someone kind of expresses or shows something like that? Like, family matters most to them inherently, but they don't need to show it.
They don't show it by spending time?
Yes, they just know that if something ever happens with their family, it's the only thing in the world that would matter to them, and if they ever needed to be there for their family, they would be there. Or maybe they're just not comfortable with the idea of starting their own family. Like, I really want kids and family really matters. I really want to be married. But I'm really scared of the idea of meeting someone. And I'm really scared of the idea of starting a new life right now. I'm not scared to move on. But it still matters most to me. But it's just hard to show.
I think that's a fair point. That's a really fair point. Because there's other ways you could show... You could, I guess, show your value for something. Or, like, there's other ways to live your values other than just where you spend your time.
Right.
Like, you could, like, work, like, for example, work really hard to support them or something. But, you know, even than that, like, it's just good to know where you're at. Like, not necessarily that unless you're spending the most time with the 10 versus something else. That means something's wrong. And maybe it doesn't mean something wrong, but, like, for the example, I think of, actually, it was my therapist that brought it up. It was another patient that was working his ass off, like, all the time, like, worked overtime, bear shit. And, bear shit. Why did I need to say that? We didn't need to say that. Whatever.
It stays in.
He was just working overtime and stuff, but he put his family as a 10, and my therapist was telling him, like, well, like, maybe there's some pressure to, like, support them or to, like, work really hard for them or whatever, but is it better for you and is it better for them for you to spend your time, your energy towards them rather than just working to support them? You know, because, like, I guess that's a better way to define it. Rather than time is just your energy. I think you should put 10... If family's a 10 to you, you should put your most energy towards your family. Whether that means directly spending time with them or whatever, or it means, you know, thinking of them and, you know, spending gifts.
That's what I mean, yeah. Like, they might be
making memories with them or, like, whatever.
Right, I agree. That's what I mean. Like, they might be a 10, and you're not physically there with them, but in your heart, you still hold them as heavy as a 10. That's what I mean.
Right, and I think that's fair, but, I mean, ultimately, it's just a good exercise for you to just be able to ask those questions.
Yeah, I do think it is a good exercise, yeah.
Because I guess it's sort of, I mean, the question you bring up is kind of like, it's sort of like a love language type of thing. Like, how do you show love towards people? And, like, maybe you don't, like, need to spend a ton of time with them, but, like, you do a lot for them to support them and show them how much you mean to you. But, like, is that best for you to do that, though? Like, or is your life better lived to maybe like, you'll make 20% less by working a little less, but ultimately you'll spend more time and make more memories and build towards your family more, and like that's a better life lived for you rather than like doing whatever you're doing.
When you say, this is something that I've also been thinking about that I really don't know why. But when you say like, oh, that's kind of like just a love language and how you show and express that love, this has been confusing me lately. I wish you could see how my finger is up in the air and how I'm squinting at the screen. But this is really something that's been confusing me lately.
Perplexing you could even say.
But like, I don't know why I've been thinking about it so much lately, but the concept of love has been so confusing to me lately.
Wow.
Is it real? Is it made up? What is it? Like, how do I define or quantify the fact that I or someone is feeling that emotion? You see how I'm even dancing around it and like not sure if I should say it or not? Like I don't know why this has been taking away like so much brain power from me recently, but I've really been thinking about it, and I can't get over the mental hurdle of not understanding what it is and how to know if and when. Like, I know I love my family, but I feel like it's so second nature to like know that I love my family that I still don't know what that emotion really is. And I don't think I've ever felt it for anyone else, but maybe I do, maybe I don't. How the fuck would I know? How do I know if I'm feeling this or not? God damn, I'm pissing everywhere. Sorry.
Here's what came to my mind when you were saying all that.
Yeah.
First of all, it's not the problem. I think not the problem or the issue, but what's confusing about it is that like it's just a word at the end of the day.
But it's a word that carries so much weight.
It carries so much weight, but we also use it in a million different ways. And like how exactly like the emotions and stuff are real, but the actual word itself, it doesn't even exist in other languages. So there's other ways to define things. I like the reason I'm saying all that is just to say that the love that you have for your family is not only a different type of love, but it's also at a different intensity than another type of love. And here's how I'll explain like the different types of loves I'll have. Like,
please do. I'm actually taking notes.
I can have like a platonic brotherly love for like a really good friend of mine. Right. Or not even brotherly, I'll just say like sibling type love.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And there's two ways around that too, because one is like at that current moment in time you feel really close to someone, but there's also some like legacy friends that I have. I call them legacy friends. I don't necessarily spend a lot of time with them, but we've just been through a lot together and like have grown up together, that they have a certain amount of like they'll just always have that real estate within me, I guess, to put it in like Sid terms.
Don't let it own real estate in your head, bro.
Like I'll always have that connection with them because they have that like piece of me from my past,
right,
sort of thing, and that like continues on, sort of thing. And then like there's someone with like my family, for instance, and that can be somewhat similar to like a platonic brotherly love, but I feel like it's more like unconditional. It's more like like we're one and the same, like we're cut from the same cloth, like we are. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, my friends aren't really like they're not like, they have like a piece of me as far as like my upbringing, but they don't have like a true like genetic piece of me, and like that's what,
like I don't have like your finger.
Yeah, like my aunt gets my finger. She sliced it off one day. She has that, and I'm like, that's love.
That's love right there. Okay, so I do get what you're saying, right? That there's different types. Like, there's the love that I have for my family. There's like the love that like you like a friend, like a brotherly love or a sibling love. Like I just know that like, oh man, like yeah, no, I like that's like he's like a brother to me. Like I love him. How do you define? Okay.
Oh, I'm getting a FaceTime from Govan.
Oh,
Should I put him on?
take it. We'll
All
make
right.
it. We'll make it quick.
Oh my god, he hung up. I
Wow.
didn't answer in time. Fuck.
Okay. How do I? Oh, you're calling back. I didn't know you'd go in.
Yo, what's up, dude? We're on the podcast right now. You want to say something?
You doing a podcast?
Yeah. You want to say something to the world?
Yeah. Wait. Let me turn this music shit off.
Tell him I
What
said
podcast
hi.
are you doing?
Kunal says hi.
Yo, what up, Kunal? It's just you two?
Yeah. He can't.
Yo, I would like to say, coming for your podcast, coming for the spot, Liam Beg,
What?
I
What?
would like to see you on the podcast
Oh, shit.
for
Oh.
yourself. If you
And-
want to discuss and debate about anything, I will be there, ready to see you and potentially kiss you.
Get him
All
off.
right.
Get him
Guest
off.
call out. Love that. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon, dude.
Talk to you, peace.
Easy.
Wow. He
Well,
actually
there you have it.
he
Liam
made the
Beg.
most of that. I love that.
Called him out.
Okay. Sorry. No. To get back to my question.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Let's say no. That was actually amazing. Okay. How
Okay.
do you? If someone, let's say there's a girl you've been talking to, and you're trying to, I guess, determine how you feel, and someone
Mhm.
asks you like, okay, oh well, do you love this girl? How am I supposed to answer that? I don't know. How do I
Mm.
quantify that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So that's my
Um,
question. I don't know if you actually have an answer for that. And if you don't, that's perfectly fine. I have just been struggling.
Yeah,
to
well, let me give
find
you my
the answer.
thoughts.
Okay.
That's an interesting question because that is at that point there almost is a hard definition. It's like either you love her or you don't.
Right, and that's what's tough.
And I've sort of felt that at other times where like I felt like I didn't love this person, but I was like I'm not that far from it, sort of thing.
right.
There was a moment where I was joking with this girl about something, and then she said like some sort of joke like haha, oh yeah, I love you. And like it made me feel really weird.
Yeah.
And then I realized that was kind of when I realized I
Wow,
was like,
yeah.
oh, it's because like I
Oh.
wasn't really like that.
Oh,
It like wasn't anything to joke about because like I wasn't that many steps away from that.
Interesting, because like you naturally couldn't feel like you could reciprocate and say it back. For that reason, you feel like you didn't love that person. Is that what you're saying, or did I misinterpret?
I'm not sure if you're misinterpreted. It was like she said it as a joke because I said something like, "Oh, we're gonna get married" or whatever, and I was
Oh.
like, "That's obviously a joke." But then she said like, "Haha, yeah, I love you" or something like that,
Oh.
and it was like it made me feel weird because I was like, "Oh, like whoa, did she mean that or like?"
Yeah,
you know,
I got
like
you.
it made me feel weird, and I felt like I'm not that many. I don't love this person, but I wasn't that many steps away from it, so like it was weird to joke about.
I get it. I get what you
So
mean.
that's when
Yeah.
I knew I was close to it. But yeah, to define how you love someone, I don't know. I don't know what the cutoff point is. Like, I guess here's one way to define it. And here's how I've always kind of thought about relationships. Like,
Mhm.
ultimately, if you're looking for a long-term partner, as in like someone you're going to spend the rest of your life with, then like you're kind of evaluating everyone in that lens. And like maybe they're not like that right now, or like you don't really know fully them, and like you guys are going to change over time, and like, oh, that's fine. But ultimately, if you don't see that in a person, then there's kind of no reason for you to be, at least this is the way I view it, there's no reason for me to have a woman as my girlfriend unless like I see that in them. Like maybe we're not like that right now, or I'm like I'm still can be unsure.
I get that.
But
yeah.
like if I don't see that in the future, then I'm like, and if I'm like seeing that in them, then I feel like that could be a cutoff point. Like, or maybe that's one of the many steps that defines it. Because ultimately, I think love is a connection.
Right.
Oh God, I feel like if you cut that up in a certain way, it'd be like just the most basic fucking.
Well, that will be
thing to
the
say in
intro.
world.
That will be the intro clip. It's either gonna be that or you saying COVID's a hoax.
I didn't say it was a hoax. I
Right. You
said
said
I'm
it's
having
not
a party.
real.
Oh yeah, no, I did say that. Fuck.
I didn't say it's the hoax. I said
Well,
I'm
maybe
having
we're
a
gonna
party.
cut. This episode's really long. Maybe we're gonna
Well,
cut. All
I think
that
this is
out.
gonna be. I think this is gonna be a two-parter, honestly.
But it's a hoax.
Okay, you and so I wasn't sure if you just disagreed.
Anyways, yeah, I was gonna say to expand on that. Like, I think love is like a connection to a person, and I think that's multifaceted. It's like one, it's like how you interact with this person. You know, like what you've done with this person, like what memories you've made with them, like what like how do they interact with the other things in your life, like other people in your life, like I don't know, what you do on your day to day, like how is she involved in that? Right. And then also like what do you see in this person in the future? Like do you see each other growing together? Would you like do this and that for her? All that stuff I think is like when you feel strongly about all those different things and you like how everything's looking, I guess. And not only that, but it's shared between both of you. I think that's love.
Okay. Can I share this too, as to what I've kind of started to try to piece together?
Nope, that's it for the episode. We've run out of time. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.
That's kind of fair, I guess.
I'm just joking, dude. Come on. You know I want to hear it, dude. Really? Did you practice this fake crying bit?
I'm sad. I practiced being sad.
Sad.
Here's the dude. Let me focus. You're gonna make me lose it. Seriously, fuck off.
Okay, I'm sorry. Dude, focus.
Stop! Man. Okay, let me just catch my breath. Ow, dude. I did my abs for the first time yesterday in like the week.
You're gonna lose it.
Oh, dude, it really hurts to laugh right now.
I know, yeah. I know the exact feeling you have. You lost it, didn't you?
Huh? No, dude, stop. I'm gonna lose it, okay? Shut up for a second. Okay, here's what I've been kind of putting to...
Sorry, that was the last one. Ew, back to that shit. An angry dog or something.
I'm growling at you. Here's the definition. Fuck, why did I say here's again? No.
I didn't even have to say anything.
Okay, I present the definition that I've started to kind of piece together as I try to determine... I almost said too much. This is the definition that I've started to kind of piece together. I feel like if you are feeling something towards someone based on a connection you have with them that you haven't felt in the past with someone else, like something is getting a reaction or a feeling or a gut response out of you that you would not give to anyone else, I think that, in my opinion, contributes to the definition of what love is. Do you agree or disagree? Like, seeing someone in a situation, like let's just say in this case, like seeing a girl in a situation that made you feel some type of way, like strongly made you feel some type of way, like it really altered your day, whether for better or for worse, where you could see someone else, literally anyone else, any girl that you've talked to in the past, any girl that you're talking to right now, anyone that you feel like you have a strong connection with in that same type of situation, doing whatever it is that you saw and it has no feeling on you whatsoever, I feel like that contributes to the definition. Do you...
I love that. I love that you have this very specific thing, like it makes you feel in this specific way, and then like you think you're gonna say like that's love, and then you're just like
stop
it. Contributes to the definition.
Stop it! Like, don't call me out for how I'm dancing around the word.
You're like you don't want to be wrong or something, or like you don't want to say that's love.
I do, like, I get so cagey around even saying the word.
And that's how you know, ultimately. No one can question you, because once you feel that, that's how you know that it contributes to the definition.
Stop it! I'm scared, I think.
That's the title of this episode.
It contributes to the definition. Fuck! You're so right, too, and I have no rebuttal.
Okay.
What do you think?
Let me actually analyze what you're saying. Yeah, so and sorry, like this unique feeling. Is it like a special feeling in general? Because I feel like, you can almost put it in the opposite and say like that contributes to hatred, because you know there could be someone that's just like, there's no one else in the world that like makes me feel like makes my skin crawl or like some, you know, it could be a bad thing, right?
But I mean, I'm saying I obviously know the difference between love and hate enough to know like negative like emotions filled with toxicity and dislike and discontent, as opposed to like, okay, I guess I will define it a bit better. Like, it's really hard because I'm also trying to not be specific.
I think you're right though, because unless you're like fucking Chris Brown or something, then
Right.
it's like you're gonna love one person. Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, there are people that have like are not monogamous, but I guess in like from a monogamous point of view, like there's only one person that can make you feel that way right now. Not saying that like there's only one person for you, but it's like at this moment in my life, you know, she's the only one that makes me feel like that.
Right.
And like that's something special.
Right. Like I can go through a laundry list of people that I'm talking to right now, I've talked to in the past, that could send me that exact text, or that I could see in that exact video, and none of them would get that type of like feeling out.
Right.
Maybe that doesn't contribute to the definition. I don't know.
No, it definitely contributes to the definition. I'm trying to determine if it's love.
Oh.
Like I want to know if it more than contributes. It certainly contributes. I will 100% give you that.
I don't know. This is what I mean. Like, it's so tough. So that's why I'm like, when someone asks, like, oh, well, do you love this girl? It's like, the fuck do you want me to say to that? I don't know. I don't even know how to go about beginning to answer that question.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Like, yeah.
Shout out to your mom.
Well, I guess you'd have to. Like, I think it's all the other things I said. Like, it's more than just like.
Right.
To answer like contributing to the feeling. Like maybe you have, contributing to the definition. Maybe you have like the feeling aspect in this specific hypothetical scenario. You have the feeling part of it down, but like maybe all the other stuff is or isn't there. In which case, like, I think all those pieces are still important to like answer the question.
Right.
But then again, I also do think though that like you can love someone like deeply and like not see a future with them, and like that'll eat you up.
Ooh.
I was just thinking of that because I said before, like, do you see a future with this person? And maybe it's not like necessarily do I see a future with them, but it's like, because that's more of like commitment rather than love, I suppose. I think it's more like, do you like deeply respect and like enjoy this person to want to like see more of them, if that, or like something like that.
I get it.
Because like in that case, you may not have the same future for each other, like see the future the same way, but you could still like deeply love someone, and it would probably tear you apart that like you don't.
Oh God, yeah,
see
that would
the
be
future.
terrible. Well, Google defines it as simple as having a deep feeling of affection for someone.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. What
I
does
don't know.
Webster's dictionary define it as?
Some possible definitions of love include a willingness to prioritize another person's well-being above yours, extreme feelings of attachment, affection, and need, dramatic, sudden feelings of attraction or respect, a feeling interesting. I guess there's no concrete definition. It's just a cluster of
Yeah, of course.
affectionate feelings.
I mean, ultimately, if someone asked you, like, do you love this person?
Yeah.
Unless you're very sure of yourself, it's kind of just like, I don't fucking know. Like, you might as well just say yes or no. Like, it doesn't even matter.
Well,
Like,
but
who
like
knows?
that's so. What if it's a hard question to? I guess I know what you mean. Just to get the fuck out of there, pretty much.
What, when someone asks?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you could just. Ultimately, my point there was just
Not if the
like,
other person that you might love is asking. I mean, like if a friend's asking. If you just say yes or no to get the fuck out of there to the actual person, my God, that's cruel.
No. No, I just meant like say yes or no because ultimately the question's kind of trivial because like it's not specific anyways.
Yeah.
Like what is even love? That's how you respond. It's like if someone asks you, what, like, do you love this person? You're just like, I don't know, what is even love?
Yeah, I
What does
mean,
love
fuck.
even mean? Because then,
I
like,
don't
if they're
know.
more specific and they ask you, well, do you feel this? And then you could say yes or no, or like whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know. See that? I don't. Whatever.
It's like this is like me every time I took a multiple choice in university. But like they asked me a question, I'm like, well, be fucking worse. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what?
Fuck
And
it.
then I
Go
had like
and
a million
see.
questions.
Yeah.
And it's like I couldn't ask a question because there was like 40 other fucking multiple choices. So I was just like, well, like fuck it. I just like picked one.
Love is just a multiple choice test.
That's when you think about it, really, really uncreative and stupid.
What the fuck? I was gonna double down and say love is a scantron. Damn it.
Love is a scantron.
Can we
and
just
I circled all the answers.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to.
No, I mean, I meant like I circled all the options.
Oh god, you failed then.
But like, can you really fail love?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Well, let me retest.
No, you failed. Can we just say shout out to your mother for that one question taking us down this entire road?
Yeah, wow.
God
That
damn.
was like a fucking hour, wasn't it?
It's, well, we've been going for, can you not see? We've been going for 88 minutes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this is a
No, I
two-parter.
can't see.
This is a
I don't know,
two-parter,
my
brother.
eyes. I've had my eyes closed this whole time.
Why?
It's a meditation of sorts.
I quit.
Why?
I quit!
I can't close my eyes, dude. You won't even let me look at your fucking face. What am I supposed to do?
I guess that's fair. Okay,
Yeah.
we should wrap here. We're approaching on 90 minutes. This is going to be a 45-minute two-parter. Sorry?
I just want to thank everyone who got through to the core of it, you know?
Yeah, I really
Appreciate it.
hope people do. I really enjoyed the conversation we have, and more so, would like to hear if anyone else has any other spin on the contribution to the definition that I didn't consider myself.
We would love everyone to contribute to the definition.
If we could just have like 5 other listeners plus Daniel and I contribute to the definition, I really think we can round out a perfect definition of the word love.
Yeah. And then, you know what? In a way, that's love.
Yeah, well, that's the point, jackass.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I also wanted to mention that, Liam, you got called the fuck out.
Yeah,
Wee!
you better do something about that. Because I remember...
Like, come on the show. Everyone, how about this? Every guest from now on has to contribute to the definition.
everyone
This is
has
how we start a cult.
Every episode opens with your contribution to the definition of love. And if you've just
That's
been
actually
broken
sick.
up with...
Imagine like being brought on a casual ass podcast and like you have to talk about what love means to you.
Yeah. And then, like, if this is, like, a romantic comedy, like, all of these podcasts are hilarious and, like, everyone, quote-unquote, contribute to the definition, haha, funny bit that you guys do. And then, like, one of the co-hosts, like, starts meeting a girl throughout the course of all these episodes, and, like, he's not
thought you
sure
were
how
gonna
he
say,
feels
like,
about
each
her or
other.
not. And then, like, all of a sudden,
you
one
were gonna say,
day,
like, we
like,
love each
you
other.
have this, no, dude, one day all of a sudden, let me finish my goddamn pitch, okay? One day all of a sudden, like, this co-host is seeing this girl, and then it all just falls apart because she feels like he's too, like, emotionally unavailable. And then, for episode 100, he's just like, please, I just need you to hear me say what I have to say one last time, and you can never talk to me again after that. Just come on the show. And this is, like, episode 100. And she's like, why would you bring me here? And he's like, here's why. Here's how I feel about you. No, da-da-da-da-da. And he starts listing off all the things that, like, every guest has said. You know what I mean? To contribute to the definition, and that's how he feels about her. And then she just fucking breaks down in tears, and she says, Kunal, I love you too. And the fucking credits roll. It's a pretty good
like
movie.
the rom-com. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty good. I thought you were going to say, like, like we were talking about it for, like, other people, but really we were just, that's how, like, we felt about each other.
Like, you and I, or like you talking like like who? 2 actors? Like, what's the,
Well, yeah, because, like, you and I.
No. Of course
Yeah,
not.
I know, I was just joking. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was just like, that would have been funny.
It was just a joke.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's
guess,
why it's like,
I guess
it's
it
a
would be
rom-com,
funny.
right? Like,
Me loving you, that is pretty fucking laughable. You're right, it is funny.
yeah, I think we're a bit. I think we're. A bit
Are you okay?
we're
You shriveled up.
Let's wrap up.
Okay.
We're going too long.
Okay,
Like,
dude.
people are gonna get pissed. We're gonna have to cut. We should probably cut. We probably should cut that out because we're going pretty over.
Well, it's fun. Start splitting into 2 parts. Let me just. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I just got a text. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, can we wrap up? I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
we're
to-
wrapping up anyways. If you could let me.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, good to be back from our hiatus.
Hi, Adis. Still, I mean that. I was just like, I didn't mean for that to like cut everything off. I was just gonna make a joke, like hiatus, as if someone, you get it right, like as if there's a person named Adis. And I'm saying hi Adis, but like really it's a word. You muted yourself.
We were so happy to be back. We fucking did a 2-parter. I mean, honestly, that really does go to show how much we had to talk about. Fuck, my voice has been cracking so much this episode. You haven't called me out
call
once.
it, dude.
You haven't called me
Dude,
out
no
once.
one-
That's much respect.
I will never call out anyone on their voice crack. Dude.
'Cause
It's part of life.
I
It
always
might be
call you
because
out.
I voice crack all the time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions of your own or contributions to the definition, send it all to dan.and.kunal@gmail.com or imrt.podcast on Instagram. Daniel, any closing words, closing thoughts?
Hi, Adis.
And we'll see you in another 4 weeks, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, it's time for
Like-
another hiatus.
like another. Oh,
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
bye.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to the I'm podcast. We will see you next week for yet another episode.
Oh, it was the last time I'm here.